to give you some statistics today. We've done a couple of studies. We're going to announce a partnership. We've got a lot to do in 10 minutes. You're probably going to have some questions. We'll be available afterwards and for the rest of the show. 5 years ago, we set out to build two technologies, one a platform, one an application. The platform is MixBank. It's the first registry for the electronic industry. MixScan is the application that powers it. I'm happy to tell you that MixBank now is the registry and repository for close to 300,000 hours of content. What we do is we ingest content from the top DJs in the world, any DJ. We take that content, we put it through identification processes, identifying the music within the music. We then take that and associate it with authoritative databases to identify who the labels and publishers are that are associated with that underlying content. And what's important, most important, is we then have the labels and publishers provide clearance for that so that it can go out to proper legal music services and begin this monetization process for the industry. So we've done a couple of studies. We'll announce two of them today. We've announced a partnership with Audiolock to give a full 360 solution to the industry. The last thing I'll say before I turn it over to Ben for his introduction is I'll give an update, first time update. So the registry has now registered content for 987 of the top 1,000 DJs in the world, either partial or full libraries. So many of the top DJs like a Tiesto have uploaded 8 years worth of content in the registry to get it registered and set for monetization. Other firms like Protocol and other management agencies like Red Light and a whole number of folks, obviously with 987 DJs, have taken on their entire groups and begun uploading their history of mixed content. The second thing is in the last 3 weeks, we started the licensing process. In the last 3 weeks, 1,400 labels have begun licensing the underlying content, which is the precursor now to legal streaming. So those are pretty important updates. Ben, tell us about Audiolock.
Thank you, Bob. I'll keep my introductions a little bit shorter. So Audiolock was actually founded 5 years ago. So this is our 4th IMS. Great event, love coming to it. We are the leading music anti-piracy service. That's not my figures, that's what Google says. We currently cover hundreds of different dance labels, a lot of the leading labels, and as of today, we are covering, to give you a yardstick of measuring that, 70% of the Beatport top 10. So if you're looking at the Beatport top 10 chart, we're covering 70% of the tracks that are on there, and of this year helped the likes of Prodigy get to that coveted #1 UK album position.
Great, thanks. So here we go with a couple of the stats from first our 2.5-year study. We've operated this study end-to-end, ingesting content, delivering it out to consumers, taking this data, extrapolating it out to the EMI market research. Basically, we've learned DJs are sampling DJs quite often within mixed content, and that just the top 20 DJs alone represent 5 billion streams a year within their sample and streaming of one another's content. What that translates to for the industry is we believe in the next 3 to 4 years, $1 billion new are going to be created in the online streaming market by the release of mix and remix content that's never been monetized before, and that based on the prior slides results, these 10 DJs will be the top 10 DJs in terms of earnings, if in fact they were monetized currently. Indies rule. So something else we learned is the majors don't rule mixed content. The indies do. 56% of all the content that we've seen streamed within mixes is actually indie labels. If you break out the actual subsidiaries of the major labels, the parents themselves represent about 15% of the remaining 40%. And the remainder of that is the subsidiaries of the 3 majors. These are the top 25 labels that we've seen in terms of rankings of what's represented within mixed content that we've seen streamed through our trial over the last 2.5 years. I'm sure a lot of you folks are here today. Again, these folks will be the beneficiaries of the monetization at the higher end of the scale. Okay.
It's incredibly important. I mean, this is a huge amount of potential royalties and revenue which is being missed. And a lot of dance music, as you know, is consumed at the end user, not in the individual track, but actually within mixes. And so these platforms out there have a huge wealth of content which is currently being streamed, consumed, and so many labels, like the labels listed on the screen behind me, they're not actually taking control of that. So there's that wealth there that can be taken control of. Perhaps it is that they see it as promo content and don't want to actually monetize that. I can tell you, though, that pirates are ripping that content from sites like YouTube and SoundCloud, rehosting it on their own websites using things called cyberlockers, and they're getting 6 pence for every download. So let's say a State of Trance radio show gets posted on all these sites. The pirates are making a lot of money off it, even if the labels themselves actually don't want to monetize it. So what we're saying here is to actually take control of that. If it is that you don't want to monetize it, fine, still use it as promo, but take control of that so you can make sure that you're actually interacting with those end users.
Yeah, so what we've done with Audiolock as sort of our first our foray with our partnership was to look at YouTube, since YouTube is already monetizing mixed content to some extent. And together we've pulled down 5,000 videos, mixed videos. We've started the analysis of what's in these videos. Are people getting paid? How often are they being viewed? We know for sure that quite often the person who uploads the video, the DJ, is generally not compensated. The underlying rights holders in some cases are. What you see here is a partial list. We picked out some of the folks that we thought were going to be here at the show to let you know that your content is not all being identified and claimed. That means there's money being left on the table today in YouTube. Together with Audiolock, we'll have some services that'll help you get that back pretty quickly. So let's talk about what that really means. The mixed bank portion of it, the claim and collect, is analyzing the existing mixed content in YouTube today. And it should be noted that mixed bank powers applications. It's powering the Audiolock application for the getting control of your content. We're powering applications with many music services today. We're in integrations with many of the major music services. That'll be launching probably late 2015 into 2016 with mixed content. That's all been registered, identified, and being cleared through the platform today. We're assisting those labels and publishers in claiming content on YouTube so that they can get that monetization. And then what we really are going to ultimately do is we're going to help the group in this room, the AFEM, through the AFEM and their support, develop some industry-based solutions, one being for YouTube. It's an incredibly fragmented place for electronic content and mixed content. Anyone who is familiar with listening to mixes on there know that they can be found in the same mix can be found in any one of 100 places. We're going to try and bring that down into some consolidated channels so that we can bring maximum monetization to the folks in this room.
And that's where we come into it. So you've got the claim and collect side of it, but we provide the controls. So making sure that the content isn't on those pirate sites. If you do want to have a particular mix that's had your track identified within it, removed from a particular site, that's what we do again. So we will go around clearing up the web to make sure that your content is just where you actually want it to be. But also we clear up search engine results. So when someone is looking for your content, they're no longer coming up with all those pirate sites that always seem to be better at search engine optimization than the legitimate sites. So you get the legitimate site up there and the traffic is funneled down into the channels that are actually going to generate that revenue for you.
All right. And that is it.
It is. And we're here, obviously this is only a really, really short slot here, but we're going to be out in the main sort of lobby and foyer earlier. So we've got the Dubset team and Audiolock team, if they'll stand up. They're going to be around there. There you go. So we've imported them specially. So do come and see us and have a little chat, and we can actually tell you how you can take control of your content. It's amazing how much is actually out there, not being claimed, and you'd be surprised at where it's turning up.
Great. Thank you. Have a great show.
Thank you.